I said to George, this is going to be a wonderful gathering because we're going to conjure up Finn. And indeed we are. I was fortunate enough to be a student of Finn's in 1989 and through her time here in Rochester, and was able to see her several times in Maine. And another colleague who was not in the same class but in the same club, the Finn Club, asked that I read this. Sue Wan sent this letter, and also sent a letter to George, remembering Finn. As I thought of Finn often saying, the story writes itself, I hoped that phenomena would come along to help edit my thoughts of what to say about that dear lady today. That didn't happen, but I have loved remembering and feeling precious memories of Finn from a place in me never too far away, beginning with the day I met her. It was a snowy day in January 1992, when I took a chance at a place called Writers and Books with a teacher named Finvola Drury, and my life has been enhanced every day since. I can easily find myself back at Writers and Books, sitting around the table with others I came to know so well, seeing that week's colorful blossoms on the table, feeling the quiet of anxious anticipation, the absolute quiet she demanded so we could all listen and hear every word. It was an atmosphere that honored writing and personal stories. When the large hallway door closed quietly with a firm click, we each sat up a little straighter and wrote our hearts out every week. A loyal cadre of us was there every winter into spring. Finn and George wintered in Rochester, ever in awe anew at her amazing ability to interpret broad and deeper meanings into our writings we never knew were there. We returned each year to the joy she brought to each of us, carrying what we said, how we said it, who we were, and who we were becoming. Finn's interest in her students never wavered over distance or time. Whenever we spoke on the phone, Finn was most interested and delighted to hear about my writing group, 9 of us still meeting, writing and thinking of her, confirmation that her legacy of writing continued. Always the writing, the story, the words. To me, Finvola Drury is the epitome of Writers and Books ideal. I miss her. I miss her voice on the phone message saying, hello out there, from Sue Wan. I wrote a few words about Finn, and then I'm going to share some what I call Finnisms. I went through my notes, and I told George I haven't done it thoroughly because I don't want it to end. I have many more things, but I called these things. Her eyes grew narrow and became blue-gray slits that scanned the room. She didn't miss looking at one of us. Assessing. Then, silver hair gleaming in the last sun of the day, she smiled and said, only you can tell your story. Thus began a 20-year odyssey with Finn, mentor, shepherd, sage, and master listener. One who eked our best from us, who listened as we told tales our parents didn't know about, tales about their lives, their shortcomings, tales that became stories of love, as Finn spun our head around the way words could express feelings buried, gratitude undiscovered, and possibilities not yet seen. We became a group. We shared from the inside out. And when Finn's Finny died, we watched closely as those blue eyes scanned a distant place, only to return to us, adjusting the daffodils that she brought to brighten our time together. We must remember springtime. A particular time with Finn I treasure is when we met at a Jiva event. I'm so glad to see you, Elizabeth, she said with genuine gusto. I must tell you, my dear, your piece from class last week was most remarkable. You're on to something very important. You must keep going. I stepped back in wonder, thinking about the writing. I looked again at this muse and knew I'd been blessed for a lifetime. And it's true. So I went through my notes from those years, and I found wonderful Finnisms, I call them. These are quotes all the way through. Naming names. Changing names to protect the guilty. The only harmful thing is poor writing. The point is to write so well that the pain is absorbed in the work. To keep the writing self in front of you. We're all going to die, so we may as well tell the truth. Drink made you shoot the landlord, and drink made you miss. Staring vacantly is a very important part of writing. You will feel variously daunted and encouraged. I like to teach autobiography, she said, and memoir, because the individual knows more about their lives than I do. Writers read for how it's going to help them to write. Find the writers who most energize you to write. The more you read, the more you get itchy and antsy to go get back to your work. You read writing for the company. There's an excerpt from Jim Cohn, and I don't think I'm stealing his thunder. This was that interview that George had forwarded. And she says, this is Finn, Sister Delphine, Finn's 8th grade teacher, read aloud to the class her essay on Lake Erie. Finn said, I knew I had written it, but I almost heard it as another person. Wendy Lowe asks of Finn about his sense of vocation to write. Finn replies, if you can express what people are feeling and thinking up to a certain point, then you are the expressor, and they're grateful to you. That's the one I was mentioning. A poem, she says, is a decision, a second. There are so many decisions in a poem. There are 2 newsletters that I have copies of, dating one July 4th, 1993. That was volume 1, number 1, and volume 2, number 2. I'm sorry, volume 1, number 2 was September 1994. And she says, as Janet Frame tells us, life is hell, but there are prizes. And then I have several letters from George. I was telling George about it, that Finn insisted that George send, and I'm still not sure why, because I gleaned quickly, but one of the things he did was sent along this very clear, crisp newspaper article that I love as a closing, from March 9th, 2000. At an annual town meeting in Brooksville, opponents of a recently adopted anti-discrimination policy criticized the wording, calling it feel-good and claiming it wouldn't change anything. But, said Finvola Drury, enacting it would be educational. Words on paper are the foundation of our government. I don't think it's a feel-good issue. It's a I feel bad. When people are there suffering and need protection, we should listen to them. If it raises the tone of civility, then it's crucial. Thank you.